is an interesting thing that in Ecclesiastes, chapter number 11, beginning at verse number 1, it says, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there shall it be. Cast thy bread upon the water, for in many days, you will find it again." And this setting, and this word is taken out of Egypt. And in Egypt, they went and they cast seed on water in the plains where there was marshes, and they would throw their seed on the water. And the reason they would throw the seed on the water is because to try to protect it from the birds and the fowls that would come down. Before it had a chance to get into the ground, the birds would come and eat the seed off of the water. And so they would come and they would eat the seed. And so they learned that if they threw the seed on the water, that the water would protect it from the fowl of the air. And then the Israelites would do something different with the same seed. But they would literally take bread and they would crumble the bread up into small pieces, and they would cast the bread out onto the water. And it was interesting, they learned that the fish would come up to eat the bread. And there they would wait with nets and they would catch the fish as it would eat the bread. And though they would take the bread that would give them food, but they would cast it out to get a greater and a bigger meal than what they already had. It is interesting in Ecclesiastes that it says to cast thy bread upon the water. For in many days, speaking of the time that it takes for a seed to germinate and a seed to die, and for a seed to come to life again, and for a seed to become food, whether they planted, I'm not sure. They planted many things in that region that would grow in that region, and their grains and the things that they would return unto them. And then it flips over to the book of Matthew. And then it flips over to the book of Romans. And Romans says in chapter number 12, in verse number 1, it begins to tell us that if we present our bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, right, it would be our reasonable service. Tells me that if I would cast myself before him, if I would cast my seed before him, that in many days he would take the seed that I have offered. And I'm not talking about money this morning. I'm talking about the ability to lay myself on an altar and say, God, use me as you will. Take my life, oh God.
Yes.
I'm giving you not much. I'm giving you a human full of faults and failures. I'm giving to you a man or a woman or a child that doesn't have a lot to give God. And so I'm casting myself as the seed and as the bread upon the water, that in due time, through the process of repentance and the process of healing and the process of growing. I don't like growth. Because growth takes time. And growth is something that as we give it unto the Lord, our growth takes time. You ever had a child come to you, Mommy, Daddy, my joints hurt.
Mm-hmm.
My bones hurt. I remember Sister Bates taking Billy to the doctor because he hurt. And they looked at his growth plate. And he said, lady, this kid's going to be tall. And he's going to hurt a lot because his growth, he's not near done growing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to grow in God, there's going to be pain.
Yes.
In my soul.
Yes. Yes.
There's going to be restless nights within me. There's going to be things. My God, there's some way, somehow, that if I can throw myself at the altar, every church has taken the altars out of the church. We have been in this building quite some time, and the biggest thing that I feel that has always hurt is the altar. There is no altar. There's no place to come and to kneel in solitude.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place for sinners to come and kneel. There's no way for them to get alone with God. I like to bury my face in an altar.
Right.
I like to bury my face down, and I like to be able to cry out to God and say, God, mold me and make me. Take my life as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto you. God, somehow take me. Try me.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants, but it's so hard to grow because it takes a releasing of oneself to grow. And when I lay my life down, when I lay me down, I'm giving up control.
All right.
The hardest thing that you will ever do, and especially the very first time you do it, is if you lay on an operating table and they're about to put you under, and you're giving up that control, and you're totally trusting a man, a woman, a doctor to keep you alive that you don't even know. You don't know their backgrounds. You don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know their credentialing a lot of times. The anesthesiologist comes in. You ain't never met the guy, but you know him well after you get the bill in the mail. And yet we place our lives in their hands, that they know what they're going to do, and they're going to make us better. it is so difficult to lay my life down and say, God, I need you to do with me what you will.
Mighty God, mighty
I
God.
need you,
mighty
Lord,
God, mighty
to do with me what you will.
Jesus,
To cast thy bread
Jesus,
upon the water. Oh, there's healing in the water.
Right.
There's
My
forgiveness
God,
in the
my
water.
God, my God.
There's life changing in the water. Oh, that I could cast myself to the water. I don't swim. I'm not a swimmer. I'm scared of water. If you gave me a free cruise, I would find a way to give it back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of water. I never could get that thing of that fear of the water. Oh, that I could lay myself on the water that Jesus walked on. And when I lay myself down in many days, he'll take me up again. And when he takes me up again, after trusting in him to put me and to change me, I don't know about you, but I've worn my hair. I had more of it, but I wore my hair this way since I was a kid. Part of it's because I'm just lazy. But most of you have got a hairdo, and it's a patented hairdo.
Mm-hmm.
If I see you, your hair is the same. Huh? Now, I would challenge any of you to let me put a chair up here. And put a towel around your neck or whatever that thing's called. And let me just change your do.
Mm-mm.
Now, I can tell you who I am, and I can tell you the credentialing I have, and my goodness, I even have all the stuff to make it look like I know what I'm doing. But most of you would say, ain't no way. No way. I ain't doing it. Because we are accustomed to what we look like. We fall into patterns. If you look at somebody long enough, you'll figure out their favorite color by the clothes they wear. Eventually, if you pay attention, their favorite color will come out. And if it's not their favorite color, it's the color that makes them look the best. I look terrible in browns. I don't like wearing brown. I get green on. I don't like brown for me. It makes me look bad. I don't know how you make it look any worse, but so when I lay myself down at the altar, I'm saying, God, you can change my hair. You can change my walk.
All
you
right.
can change my clothes. You can change my shoes. You can change everything that there is about me.
Yes. Come
I won't
on.
even get up and look in the mirror, God. I just know that you got it made. I know, God, that you're
my
going
God.
to take me and make me a vessel of honor and glory.